Hello students, I am Raghuraj Singh, Assistant Professor Computer Science and Engineering, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So today I am going to start machine learning complex topics. So in very first complex topic is decision tree learning. So decision tree learning has very complex complex phenomena that is involved by the decision tree, how decision tree involves learning, how decision tree works, and how decision tree can be used for appropriate problem solving. So we will see in this particular lecture. So let's start about the decision tree. So decision tree, most of the times decision tree has some confusion, and most of the students are not able to understand the concept of the decision tree. That's why I I am going to explain the concept of the decision tree, and today in today lectures we will I will include the uh, theoretical description of about the decision tree, how decision tree works, and how what is the phenomena. And in the next subsequent lectures we will see the numerical approach employed by the decision tree learning. So we'll see. Let's start here about the decision tree learning. So what is the decision tree? So basically decision tree is nothing, it is a supervised learning technique. So in case of the learning technique, when we talk about the machine learning techniques, so what is the decision tree comes in which category of the machine learning? So basically we have the three category of the machine learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So decision tree comes in which category of the machine learning? Decision tree comes in the category of the supervised learning technique that can be used for both classification and regression problems. So application of decision tree is both in the both cases, either in classification or in the regression problems. But mostly it is preferred for solving the classification problem because it works on the certain decision, and where the decision is involved, we always use the classification problem. So major use of the decision tree is in the case of the classification problem, but it can be used for the regression purpose and for the predicting the continuous quantity also. So uh, decision tree is basically a supervised learning technique that can be used for both classification as well as the regression purpose, but mostly it is used for the classification problems. And it is a tree structure classifier where internal node represents the feature of data sets. So basically decision tree, as name indicates, decision tree, tree is terms is involved here. So these particular words obviously indicates this whatever the technique will be employed by this decision tree, that is implies the form and a structure that is again a tree like structures. So it is a tree structured classifier where internal nodes, we have the internal nodes which represents the feature of the data sets, and branches represents the decision rules, and each leaf node represents the outcome. So whatever the leaf node are inside the decision tree, so will represent the outcome that is coming with the help of the decision tree. So in the next slide we will also see the structure of the decision tree, how the tree is created, and how it can be applied to solve the problem. So we will see with the help of the examples also. So moving on that, in a decision tree there are two nodes which are decision nodes and leaf node. So in case of the decision tree, whenever we try to solve any problem, so first of all that we have the node which is called the decision node. On the basis of this decision node, we if the response is yes, then we will move for the yes responses. If response is no, then we will move for the no responses. Again we are getting the node that is called the leaf node. So for every decision we are getting the node, this is the decision node, and whatever the node we are getting after the decision, we are getting the leaf node. These are called the leaf node, and this one is called the decision node. So this one is the leaf node, and First one is called the decision node. So we have, in the case of decision tree, we have the decision node as well as the leaf node. So what decision nodes does? Decision nodes are used to make any decision and have multiple branches. So in this case, we have the decision either basically yes or no. So we have two leaf node, we have two branches. If decision are continuous quantity, so we can have the multiple leaf node. So it should be like that. So we have the again a leaf node to be connected with the decision node. If the multiple is if there is multiple options of the decision. So decision nodes are used to make any decision and have multiple branches, where leaf nodes are the output of the decision. So whatever the if response is yes, we are getting this particular we are moving to this leaf node. So this leaf node is the output of this prediction, that is the S response. So leaf node are the output of those decision and do not contain any further branches. So it does not contain the any other branches because we have moved to the destination point. So the decision or the test are performed on the basis of features of the given data sets. So basically, whatever the data sets, whatever the data we have, that on which we are creating the decision tree. So decision are the test. So at this particular node, decision test are performed, and according to the test, if the test response is yes or either response is no, then it is going to be created at this particular node, that is the leaf node, that is the yes response, that is the particular outcome at the yes response. And if the response is no, then we are getting this leaf node true after the no response, if the response is no. So we have the outcome output node, and if the output node is obtained, then there is no further classification of this node, because we have obtained the decision node, we have obtained the destination point on which we have to move. So the decision or the test, so particularly the point at which we are performing the decision test. So at this point, decision tests are performed on the basis of the feature of the given data set. So whatever the features are available in the data sets, we will perform the decision. So that decision will be carried out at this node, and according to decision, if this decision is yes, we will move to this node. If decision is no, we will move to this node. So moving on to this, why we use the decision tree? What is the reason behind using the decision tree? So there are two reasons for using the decision tree. Decision tree usually mimics human thinking. So whatever the thinking decision is to be carried out by the human brain, that kind of thinking decision is involved by the decision tree. So there are certain phenomena, there are certain different problems on the where we get some thinking in the brain, and accordingly we carried out some decision on the basis of the thinking phenomena. So that kind of the problems are also solved with the help of the decision tree. That's why it is the working of the decision tree is also the thinking phenomena of the human being. So decision tree usually mimics human thinking ability while making a decision. So that involves the same kind of ability that is involved by the human being. So it is easy to understand. So basic advantage of being using the decision tree, that it is easily understandable to the any users, any human beings where we are applying to the decision tree. And the second reason is that for using the decision tree is that the logic behind the decision tree can be easily understood because it shows a tree like structure. So whatever the logic we are going to employ, whatever the logic we are going to apply for creation of the decision tree, that is easily understandable to the any user. That's why we will create the decision tree. So basic phenomena which are applied by the decision tree that matches with the human being, that matches the human thinking process of the human being. That's why we use the decision tree, and the logic behind the decision tree is easily understandable to any user, any person who ever see the decision tree. because it basically shows the tree like structure. So everyone is able to get to know that what is going on in this particular scenario, in the particular decision cases. So what kind of decision is being taken at a particular node, at particular decision node. So that is easily understandable to any person, any human being. That's why we use the decision tree. This is the basic reason behind using the decision tree, and we apply it to solve the complex problem of the real life complex problem by employing the decision tree. So let's see how decision tree, what are the different terminologies of the decision tree. So this particular decision tree has the root node, where the decision is to be carried out, that is called the decision, also called the decision node. So that is the decision root node. So basically root node is from where the decision tree starts. So basically root node is the particular place, particular starting point of the tree where the decision tree starts. So if we have the decision tree, so these particular nodes represents the root node. So whatever the descendant node should be there with the according to the decision that is to be carried out at the root node, then different branches will be there. Then according to the, if the response is yes, if the response is no, then then further their classification. Then again, if there is some classification, again some kind of the decision is to be needed to be taken at this place. Then we definitely move to this. We have the again leaf node at this place, and again if the decision is needed to be taken at this place, at this node, then again we have the leaf node of this particular decision node that is to be here. So for this particular leaf node, this is a leaf node, this is the decision node, this is the root node for this particular leaf node, two leaf node, and this is the leaf node for this particular root node, and again this one is also leaf node, which is the and the root node of this particular leaf node is the decision place, and for this particular node, decision node, again is a leaf node for this particular root node. So accordingly the classification is to be carried out. So working phenomena of this decision tree is very simple, and that most of the times the human being involves to in order to think, in order to solve any kind of the problems of the real life. So if there is some bank who want to give some loan to any persons, so first of all it will see that whether person is employed or not. So if the person is employed, so what is the income? If the income is high, then obviously the loan will be provided. If person is not employed, so what is the basic balance in her account, in his or her account? If balance in his or her account is appropriate, and it shows that it is able to he or she is able to return the loan amount, then definitely the loan will be provided to the particular persons. And if the balance is very low, if balance is history is very low, then accordingly the decision will be carried out no to for the allotment of the, for giving the loan to the particular customer. So this is the particular scenario where there is the application of the decision tree. So decision tree is basically applicable to solve the real complex problem where we have the different parameters in order to solve the decision, in order to solve the problem on basis of the different number of parameter, and ample amount of the parameters we apply the decision tree. So in the case of the decision tree, we have the root node. So root node is shown here, and again if this root node is again classified onto on the basis of yes or no responses, then there is the again leaf node. There is this leaf node works as the decision node for this these particular 1 and 2 leaf node, and for 3 and 4 leaf node is again working as a decision node, and again this these 2 leaf node these two are the leaf node for this particular root node. So leaf node is what? So 1 and 2, these are two leaf node where we don't have any classification further for any node, where that node is said to be the leaf node. So leaf node are the final output node, and the tree cannot segregate it further after getting a leaf node. So after getting the leaf node, the tree is not further does not perform any subdivision of the particular node. So at this particular scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4 are the leaf node. So this one is leaf node, and this 2 is also leaf node, and 3 is also leaf node, and fourth one is also the leaf node. So this particular scenario is said to be the leaf node. So this is called the leaf node. So obviously, whatever is the third terminology is splitting. So obviously, on the basis of decision, we perform the splitting into the different leaf node onto the different decision node. So whatever the this particular scenario is getting, that we are performing some test at this node, then again on the basis of yes or no, we are subdividing this decision node into the two leaf node. So this particular process is called the splitting. This one is called the splitting process. So based on the responses, we subdivide the we take the decision, and on the basis of decision we divide the root node into the leaf node, and this one is called the splitting. So splitting is basically the process of dividing the decision node or root node into the sub nodes according to the given conditions. Whatever the condition is given, we are getting the response either yes or no, either we are getting the response either true or false, either we are getting the response either 1 or 0, either we are getting the response either a continuous quantity, then there should be multiple branches, multiple decision nodes, multiple leaf node at the particular decision nodes. So if there is if we are predicting some continuous quantity, then obviously there should be some multiple node at this particular leaf node position. And if this is the categorical binary prediction we are going to carry it out, then obviously there should be two branches based on the yes or no, based on the 1 or 0 responses, and the decision node will be split into the two leaf node. So here 3 and 4 are the leaf node, and this one is the decision node, and we are splitting this decision node into the two leaf node. So splitting is basically nothing, it is the process of dividing the decision node or root node into sub nodes according to the given conditions. So next terminology is the branch, that is also called the subtree. So a tree formed by splitting the tree. So obviously we get the tree by splitting the particular node, by splitting the particular decision nodes. So this is so whatever after splitting, whatever the branches are obtained, they form the tree, or that is called they form the branch, or they form the subtree. So what is the pruning? So pruning is nothing, this is the process of removing the unwanted branches from the tree. So if there is some extra node that is created, so we will remove the extra node, unwanted node, which is not needed, which is not suitable to the particular problem. So if we are not getting the particular response, we don't need to create the further branch, further leaf node for the particular obviously responses. So pruning is nothing, this is the process of removing the unwanted branches from the tree. If there is unwanted branch, then we need to remove this unwanted branch, that is called the pruning. So parent child node, so obviously the root node of the tree is called the parent node, and other nodes are called the child nodes. So here in this particular process, for this particular phenomena, this is the parent node, and classified nodes are called as the child node. So this one particular node 3 and node 4 are called as the child nodes, and this particular decision node is called as the parent nodes. So the node which is taking the decision, that should be called as parent node, and after decision, if we are moving to some other sub branches, then this is said to be the child node. So leaf node is said to be the child node, and their original node, from where they have been classified, they are that is said to be the parent node. So in this particular process, this one is the parent node and these are the child nodes. So particular classified node has the parent and child relationship. So that's why it is called the parent. There is are the terminology that is called the parent and child node. So the node which is used for classification, which is used for taking the decision, this is that is to be called as parent node, and the node which are created after taking the decision, after taking the decision, that node are said to be the child nodes. So these are the basic terminology. Terminologies are the root node from the where the creation of decision tree is to be started. Leaf node is the node where which is derived from the root node. Splitting, the process of dividing the root node into the subtree, that is called the splitting. Branch or subtree. So whatever the branches are created, leaf node are created after performing some certain decision on the decision node, they are called the subtree or branch of the subtree. And removing the extra branches from the tree, that is called the pruning. And whatever the decision is to be carried out, they are said to be the parent node. And after taking the decision, whatever node is derived, that is called the child node. So this is the basic terminology of the decision tree that we need to take care of. And next, how and which kind of the problem is to be solved with the help of the decision tree. So we will see with the help of an example. Suppose that there is a candidate. Suppose that there is a candidate who has a job offer and wants to decide whether he should accept the offer or not. So if any candidate, there is a candidate who has given the interview in multiple company, so he or she need to decide that whether which company he or she have to join. So out of those available company, there are certain parameters. So according to the available different parameters, we need to decide that which company need to join. So to solve this problem, the decision tree starts with the root node. So we starting with the root node, there should be a salary attributes, salary attribute by ASM, attribute selection measure. ASM stands for the attribute selection measure. So on the basis of some attributes, we will measure that whether we will decide whether we which company I have to join. So the root node splits further into the next decision node. So root node, that is the decision node, that performs some criteria that like whether which company is providing the highest salary. So if one company is providing higher salary, then we will also check out the other parameters, that whether company is nearest to my place, whether company is providing the cab facility, whether company is providing the appropriate leaves whenever needed. So if these kind of the facilities are available, then accordingly the candidate will decide whether I have to join which one company. So the thing is that, so to solve this problem, the decision tree starts with the root node, and obviously the attribute will be salary attributes. So which company is providing the highest salary, and then root node splits further into the next decision node. Root node is further performing the split into the next decision node, and one leaf node based on the corresponding labels, the next decision node further gets split into one decision node. So on the basis of the other parameter, the next decision node will further get classified into the decision node, that is the cab facility, and one leaf node. And finally the decision node splits into two leaf nodes, accepted offer and declined offer. So obviously in this particular scenario, this particular problem, which we have the two kind of responses, we have accepted offer and declined offer. So so this can be seen easily with the help of the diagram that is available in the next PPT. So this is the particular scenario where we need to consider out the case of the decision tree. So this is the particular scenario, particular developed decision tree that has been created based on the available set of condition in the problem and according to requirement of the candidates. So obviously for any candidate, first requirement is salary. So if salary is high and it is in between dollar 5,000 50,000 to dollar 80,000, so obviously the candidate will be if this parameter is matches with the candidate, which one company is providing the highest salary, the person will choose. So if this particular salary is in between this particular range, if it is yes, then candidate will also see whether this particular office is near to home or not. If this is near to home, if it is yes, it obviously will see whether company is providing the cab facility or not. So if company is providing the cab facility, then obviously if it is yes, then the job offer will be accepted, and if this is no, then job offer will be declined. At this place, the candidate will be able to decide whether we have to accept the offer or we have to decline the offer. So at this place, the response was no. So obviously the candidate will decide that I don't need to choose this company. At this particular yes response, he or she has seen that whether the company is near to home. So based on that decision, he has accepted the offer, and further checking the other parameters, that is whether the company is near to home and providing the cab facility. If it is yes, then he will accept the offers. If it is no, then he will reject the offer. So again, the office is not near to home. So again at this place, decline the offer. Again this place, candidate will decline the offer. Again this place, the candidate will decline the offer. And this is the particular decision that has been taken out for this particular scenario, where the candidate or any student having the multiple job offer, and how the decision is to be taken out in order to accept the offer or in order to reject the offer. So this is the particular scenario where the particular type of the scenario where the decision tree works, and where there is the need or application of the decision tree in order to solve the complex problem. So in this way, we will create the decision tree for this particular example. So for this particular example, this decision tree has been created. This is called the decision tree. So why it is called the decision tree? Its obvious reason is that for any particular node, at this particular node, we are taking the decision either yes or no. If decision is yes, so we are moving checking for other parameters. If it is decision is no, then we have taken decision that I don't need to choose this particular offer. So based on yes responses, then again checked again parameter, then again this particular node is also working as a decision node, and based on this decision yes or no responses, again checking the other parameter, then again this is working decision node. So this one is the decision node, and this one is the decision node, and this particular node is the leaf node for this particular decision node, that is also called the root node. So in this particular decision tree, this one where the tree starts, that is called the root node, and this has two branches. So this is two branches. This is branch 1, this is branch 2. So again this particular node is working as a decision node for this 2 node, and again this node is working as a decision node or root node for this 2 leaf node. So for this 2 leaf node, this is again root node. For this particular decision node, then or this is the parent node, and for this particular node, this particular node is called the parent node, and for these 2 leaf node, for these 2 nodes, this particular node is working as the parent node. So there is parent-child relationship. For this is the parent node, this is the child node. Again, this one is the parent node for this 2 node, and again this is this parent node is providing the splitting in 2 leaf node, that is the accepted offer and declined offer. So this is the parent node for this accepted offer and declined offer. Again, office near to home is again a parent node for this 2 particular node, and again this one is root node also, and again the parent node for these 2 nodes, for these 2 child nodes. So these are the child node, this is again child node for this particular node, and again this one is the child node for this particular node. So this is the basic structure of the decision tree, and how the decision tree is applicable to solve the real complex problem of the real life. So we'll again move, we'll see what are the construct, what are the parameter that is needed in order to create the decision tree. So attributes selection measures are while implementing a decision tree, the main issue arises that how to select the best attribute for the root node and for sub nodes. So in order to create the decision tree, we need to create the root node. So how the root node should be created? The root node should be created based on the best attributes. So for the root node, and to solve the problem, there is a technique which is called the attribute selection measure. So with the help of attribute selection measure, we will measure which one is the highest attribute that will be selected for the root node. So by this measurement, we can easily select the best attribute for the nodes of the tree. So there are two popular techniques for attribute selection measure, which are information gain, and second one is called the Gini index. So these are the two basic parameters on the basis of which we create the decision tree, and these particular two parameters represents that how we need to choose the root node, and how we further need to split into the child node. So in this particular lecture, we will see up to this particular point, and in the subsequent lectures, in the next lecture, we will see that what is the information gain, what is the Gini index, and how the information is to be chosen, how information gain is to be chosen in order to create the decision tree, how the Gini index is need to be created in order to create the decision tree. So up to now, we will see the attribute selection measure, and in subsequent lectures, we will see the further study about the information gain and Gini index. So thank you.